We have seen modules previously, when we created a file and included it in another file. In this example, we have a util file that contains a function called add, which is just adding two numbers. And in the demo.res, we are using it. We say util.add 1 and 2, and we assign it to a placeholder. So a file is automatically a module in Rescript. We have a file called util.res here, and that's why the module name is util. So module is like a mini file. It's a smaller scope than a file. A file is automatically a module. We can create a module inside a file like this. In here, we created a module named soldier inside a util file. So we can access it in the demo file using dot notation. As you can see, the module just becomes nested. And of course, we can create a nested module as well. So we have created an animal module with dog module and cat module as nested modules. And if you want to access it, it's simply just using dot notation. If you don't want to keep typing module util, you can, of course, open the module. When you're opening a module in a scope, you're basically using the module's name as global in that scope. In this case, we open the utils module in the file scope. So you can just use soldier.sortsman. But you can also open a module in a function scope. For example, in this example, we open the util module in a file scope, so you can just use the soldier module. And then inside the function, we open the soldier module, so we can just directly use the getBattleCry function here, and also the type of soldiers here. Let's take a look at the compiled file, just in case. So we see here that the demo file correctly requires the util file. What happens if we move the util file inside a nested folder? Let's try that. So we have moved the util file inside the helpers folder. So the Rescript compiler here automatically knows that util.bs.js belongs to util.res, and it moves them together. Or maybe it just recompiled and delete the previous one. So let's see what happened with demo.bs.js. As you can see here, the Rescript compiler correctly knows where to require the util.bs.js. Alright, let's talk about another type of file, which is .resi file, which probably stands for Rescript interface. I'm not really sure, but that's how I remember it. Right now, if you write any code in a Rescript file, all the code will be available publicly. Your let bindings, your variants, your types, your variables, all of them will be available publicly. For example, let's say I have this file. So we can access the secret key from demo.res. We don't want this. We don't want other modules to be able to see what's supposed to be an internal code. So we can write a resi file that only exposes what we want. And now the Rescript compiler complains that it can't find the secret key because we have limited the public access of secret key. In this resi file, we only need to define the types. So once you have a resi file, You can write all of your types here instead of your regular file. Of course, you can definitely write the types twice, one in resi file and the other one in regular res file, but why write it twice? Okay, so we have covered the basic of modules in this video. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Rescript is designed to be easy to use. If there are still things that you haven't grasped enough, don't worry, modules come up from time to time, so you'll get it in no time. So with this video, this is actually the end of basic Rescript syntax. This is not complete yet though, because for Rescript to be useful, it needs to be used in a JavaScript context. That's why in the next several videos, we'll be discussing about JavaScript interaction. This is really exciting because you can reuse the power of JavaScript ecosystem, whether it's using Node.js, Bun, or Deno, or even in the browser, you can use them all with the type safety of Rescript. It's literally a superpower if you think about it. So stay tuned and I'll see you there.